underneath, so there's no way that my opponent can drive their knee to the mat. I'm making sure that I'm framing their knee so they can't close this space. And again, I'm also framing on this collarbone, so if he tries to drive in, he can't. There's no way. But this grip also serves as with another purpose. I can pull him as well. So I make sure that if I need that time, I'm framing, but I can also pull. Now, in this moment, my opponent, his reaction is going to be to drive. Super common reaction, one of the most common ones initially when you enter the position. They grab their grips, they start pulling themselves in, driving their weight on top of you, trying to crush you, as if they can crush through this position. Initially, when you start playing the position, it looks a little sketchy because you feel that your knee can get bent all the way up, hurting your knee. But it can never go any further than this frame that you have right here. So the more he drives in, he's going to bend your knee slightly, but never past your frame. So your knee is always going to be safe, and he's always going to be driving into a frame. And notice how he starts loading himself up, his weight on top of me. Now, in order to attack this reaction, I'm going to continue with the weight that he's giving me as he's driving forward. I'm going to continue with the motion. Go ahead. And now I'm going to open my elbow. I'm going to be pulling my knees into my chest, pulling this grip in towards me, all together, elevating him up onto my frames. Now this foot here, notice how I switch from hooking to stepping on the hip. In this moment, it's very simple for me to flare my elbow, scooping the leg, and making a grip on the pants. Now I can easily extend with my frames. I can push him out away from me. And I'm not just going to get up, I'm going to make a frame here to keep him away so he can't come back on top of the position. We have to put this hook here. Okay? This hook is keeping their knee pointing up, right? So try to point your knee towards me. It's a frame. If we allow them to get all the way down to their hip, it's going to be hard to get under them. Okay? So I make sure when I scoop my hip, I'm never allowing this knee to turn into me. Okay? If it's down, when the opponent is now putting the weight on my armpit, on the top arm. So we're going to look later on what to do when they frame the bottom armpit. But right now they're framing the top armpit. So it's hard for me to pull their weight onto me. So I can have my grips and everything locked in. As soon as they frame my top armpit, I can't put their weight on top of me because they're keeping their weight back. Okay? They're putting the weight on their arm, and they're no longer driving with the knee. The weight's on their toes. The good thing about this is because of the way they're shifting their weight, I'm going to be able to just knock them back over this foot. Okay, but we have to make sure that we take their ability to post, because if I just have these grips and I knock them back, they can use that free hand to catch their fall and pop back up. Boom. So I want to make sure that I'm grabbing this arm. Okay, so I'm grabbing right behind the tricep. I'm lifting my hip up and putting them in this position. Okay, they're basically in a double pull scenario with a disadvantage because I'm up and they're down. So all I'm going to look to do is I'm going to look to take this foot and hook right behind the leg like we did with the technical stand-up. And now there's a couple things we can look to do. I have to connect my hip to their hip so I can grab the belt, and I'm going to look to scoot and scoot so that we connect hip to hip. Now we're going to look at the reaction of this leg. If this leg, so once grab the near side cuff of the pants, so I'm making a 4-finger grip on the cuff here, and now all I have to do is connect hip to hip. Boom. Okay? With this hook, I can now toggle their knee around. So if they decide to just bunker down with this leg, it's going to be easy for me now to get my knee to the outside of the leg here. Okay? It's easy now for me to pull my elbow underneath my hip to start lifting myself up. So I'm going to let go of the pant, double up on the belt, and now I'm going to grab the pant underneath my leg here. Okay, just like in the bear and bolo position. So we have to